had tax hikes trying to fix it. Now we're learning the state's no longer making algebra a requirement for 8th graders. Celia Bigelow says, bad timing. The state already has a problem doing math if it thinks these tax hikes are going to add up. Benkie and Adam Lashinsky are back as well. Celia.
Don't you just love the hypocrisy in this? Politicians in California can't even apply simple math principles to balance the budget, and now they're trying to dumb down the math system in California. To be honest, if I was a smart family or business in California, I'd be taking up Rick Perry's offer and moving to Texas, where there's lower taxes and a better school system.
Let's talk to Adam Lashinsky. He's in the state of California. Adam, what did you make of this move?
Well, it sort of amuses me the way we can try to make any conversation we have about anything having to do with the fact that taxes are bad. This topic has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with taxes. The educators in the state of California have a problem. Students are not doing well in their algebra classes, and they have found that they are not ready for algebra. So they're following some national standards that suggest that it might be better for students to wait.
But Adam, when will any student be ready for algebra? Go ahead.
Yeah, I would rather that every student in California have algebra in the 8th grade. That obviously is the goal, and so the answer is to try to get them prepared better. But this just isn't a tax issue. You can try to make it a tax issue.
Making it funny.
You can talk about
humorless
Rick
today.
Perry in Texas.
You're so humorless
but that's not
today,
what we're talking about.
Oh, come on. We're just, all right. It was a funny, but, you know, it flew over your head. But, what do you make of this movie?
Well, I thought it was funny, Celia. But actually, the issue is that these teachers are not getting the job done. And in 8th grade, you've got to take algebra because guess what? If you want to go to school, you've got to take the PSAT. You've got to take the SAT. Guess what?
Adam's saying they're not ready.
Well, of course they're not ready because they don't know algebra. And for the SAT, hello, half of the SAT is math, and a big part of it's algebra. You have to know algebra to be able to get in college. So the minority students or some of these folks who are in schools who are not doing as well, they have a huge disservice. I feel sorry for them. Then they are the ones, because they won't be able to get the tutors, they won't be able to get the special help. They're the ones that are going to fall behind. It's not fair to them.
Celia, to Didi's point, is the state of California doing a disservice to its students by not forcing them to take algebra, just knuckle down and do it because of the SATs and because of their future careers? Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not just that either. I mean, President Obama always preaches about how we need to be competitive across the globe in science and math. And by not requiring algebra, which is not that hard, we're not going to be competitive globally. We should be working towards even higher mathematic levels like calculus and trigonometry if we are going to compete nationally with other nations.
So, Adam, you mentioned national standards allowing this to happen. What are you referring to?
The educators in California are adhering to a new national standard that suggests that where there are problems with students learning algebra, where their success rates have been low, that it is acceptable to delay when they take it. I didn't make up the standard. And again, to be clear, I think we're all in agreement that it would be better for students to have algebra in the 8th grade to get them prepared for college. We're all in agreement on that. The only question is what's the right way to go about doing it?
Well, certainly not in the areas where they're not able to perform and they're doing badly. That's where they need more of a focus. You need to double down and say, hey, let's help these kids in math and algebra, not take it away. I mean, that's not fair to the kids.
Nope.
It's ridiculous. It's backwards.
Right. Go ahead, Celia.
Well, I was going to say this is exactly why conservatives need to pay closer attention to local races such as school board, and this is what we preach here at AMA, is that we can't ignore these local elections because look at what happens when liberals infiltrate states like this. It becomes a disaster economically and in the school system.
Adam, to Celia's point, isn't the problem at the school board level across the country? We've got bureaucrats with very fancy cars, very splashy, benefits that they get, and they're just not really that interested in what's going on at the student level. Go ahead. I actually have teachers in my family who say this. I've got teachers from my grandmother. My mother was a teacher, my sister, my nieces. They're all saying this. Go ahead.
Well, be that as it may, you're still making ad hominem attacks against unnamed individuals.
All right, let me just stop you, Adam.
That is not a serious policy conversation.
All right, let's stop with
yes,
Adam.
it is.
No,
when you
it's
talk
not,
about
Dee Dee.
fancy cars, that has nothing to do with
Adam,
policy.
please, it's not an
Yes,
ad
it
hominem
does. It
attack.
is a
There are
policy.
facts.
You're
Go
just
ahead.
name
It's a
calling.
terrible.
What's
no,
name calling?
Liberals are doing this. This
It's
isn't a serious
terrible
conversation.
policy.
You're just
These
calling people
children,
names.
if you do not have children take algebra, that's basic math. They are doing it in
No
other
one
countries.
said you don't want students taking algebra. You're twisting
No,
what
you know what
they're
the problem
doing.
is these teachers, many of the teachers unions are worried about the upper crust, and I believe that and as far as like the administrative part, let's think about the kids that are in school. They don't have algebra in 8th grade. Are you kidding me? That is a basic need.
Didn't say that they aren't going to have algebra in the 8th grade. They said that it's no longer going to be a requirement necessarily.
They need more attention, and the teachers need to work hard to make sure and get them there instead of taking away algebra, a basic need.
All right, let me just be clear here. Let me back up. As the anchor, I think Adam is saying he doesn't like the use of the word liberal as an ad hominem attack. Is that right?
Sorry.
Don't be sorry,
no,
Celia. So what? I mean, if he didn't like it, he doesn't like it. But it's just not
No, I
happening.
didn't
It's
say
not
that,
working. He's
Liz.
just grumpy today.
All right. Well, Celia, you know what?
Maybe.
Celia, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think if we're going to compete globally, like I said, and California is predominantly Democrat, so if they're going to follow what President Obama says that we need to compete globally, then we definitely need to keep algebra, which isn't that hard, on the books.
Celia, you get the final word. Go ahead.
Dee Dee?
Dee Dee,
okay,
sorry.
thank you. Well, no, actually, I think it is a liberal policy because basically what you're doing is lowering the bar and you're making it equal for everyone. You're not raising the standards, you're just making it equalizing, and that's a liberal way of thinking. So sorry, Celia's right.
Thank you for an impassioned debate, and thank you, Adam Lashinsky, for holding up that end of it. Really appreciate your input there.